I felt like just jumping on here and sharing my reflections of what's coming up for me today. Ugh. So today I officially start the course that I've been launching for the last 3 weeks. Feminine Magnetism, how to attract and keep him. And today I'm sitting with a lot of feels, a lot of emotions around it. I did an introduction in the group last night, and we put our intentions into the container. Women are writing their intentions as I speak now, and I feel like I'm holding all of it in my womb. All of the intentions, all of the feelings, all of the beliefs, all of the stories. I can feel it in my body. I can feel myself holding this really deep, potent container. And this is such a personal course for me, because this is my journey, and a journey that I'm still on. And just receiving the intentions of the women in this space, and it's really bringing me in touch with, the parts of me that have felt abandoned or dark or alone or left or unloved, unsafe. And this is something that has really debilitated me in my life. And there was so much shame around it up until recently, how fucked up I felt around relationships and men, and how triggered I would get, and how lost I would get, and how paralyzed, and how I would just fall apart every time I got close to a man. And it's been a ride. And it's taken a lot of falling down and going into the black hole and picking myself up, and understanding what brought me here. What have I been holding space for? What's the mirror showing me? What am I not feeling? What am I not seeing? And just feels big, and big in a really beautiful, expansive way, as well as tender and because it's so personal, because there are so many parts of me that have been in such fear in the past. And now I'm at a point where I'm holding space and being an advocate for women, for other women, to shift these feelings, to really go into these feelings and meet it, and come back to the light, and come back to love. And amongst everything that I'm feeling, I'm really touched and really honored and really thankful for these women that have decided to do this work, and to allow me to guide them through this process. And much of what this journey is about is being able to hold ourselves in the triggers and in the stories, being able to go into the emotional body so we can feel it without feeding into the projection or the fear. Because that's what I used to do. The fear would overpower me, but I didn't know how to get out of the fear. And I was reaffirming it because I would believe it every time. Oh, I feel rejected. Where around me am I being rejected? And I would find, something to affirm that fear, because it fed into the identity that I was running, which was the abandoned child. I'm always abandoned, I'm always left, my feelings aren't a priority, etc., etc. And feminine power is our emotional selves. It's being in the body, and so many of us have been taken out of our body or have been in environments where it hasn't been safe to be in our bodies. It hasn't been safe to feel. It hasn't been safe to be vulnerable and sensitive, because space wasn't held for it. For some reason, it was not available for us to be ourselves and be who we are. And that is what feminine power is. It's being in your body. It's being in your vulnerability, in your sensitivity. It's being held in it. It's holding yourself in it, and knowing that no matter what you feel, no matter what you've achieved externally, you are always powerful, you are always worthy, you are always safe. And this is a big part of what I'm bringing through in this course, so that we can show up in our power, so that we can feel safe to own our boundaries and our desires and our needs, and not from this place of, well, you better fucking give it to me, or I'm done with you, or you're not doing enough of this and I'm not feeling safe, so you need to fix it and make me feel good. It's from this place of, this is what feels really good for me, this is what I love to receive, this is what I'm desiring, this is what I'm committed to. This is what feels really nourishing for me. This is what I really enjoy. It doesn't have to come from this fiery, bitey, hard place where it's like, well, if you're not meeting my needs, then fuck you. If you're not making me feel good, fuck you. Especially when, relating to the masculine, who by nature is a lot more self-serving and wants to take his space. As women, we really need to be able to stay warm when a man is taking his space. Or if we feel like he's taking more space than what actually feels good for me in my body at an authentic level, not at a triggered level, then being able to speak up and say, what feels really good for me is when we check in every other day. What feels really good for me is when, you call me sometimes. So being honest, being open, but staying warm. What I've seen in myself and so many other women is that we find it really hard to speak our needs and our boundaries and stay warm and stay open. And because we haven't spoken our boundaries for so many years in so many ways, when we go to do it, there's all this tension and contraction and trigger around it. So we end up meeting the guy with fire, with coldness and hardness, and it's rarely received well. Most of the time the man on the other side of that will want to defend himself, or he'll kind of shut down a little bit. So what I'm teaching in this course is how to own your authentic truth, how to own your boundaries and your needs, but in a way that feels empowering for both of you, in a way where it feels juicy and exciting, not like this really heavy thing of, oh, I really want this thing, and I want more of this, but I don't know how to fucking say it, and well, he's a dick because he's never even done it, even though I've never actually communicated it. Just realizing how much I've pivoted through this conversation. So we start today. There is still time to join. I have 37 women in the space. And I'm still open to taking a few more. And if you're someone who really struggles to feel in your power, to feel safe and confident with men, and you find that you meet men in trigger a lot, and you seem to repeat certain cycles in relationships, then this course will transform the way you relate to men, the way you see yourself, the way you feel in a relationship. And I'm going to be teaching you how to work on what's inside of you, so how to hold yourself in the triggers, how to process these stagnant emotions, and also practical things that you can bring into your relationships with men that are really just about you being in your authenticity, being in your power, being open, being vulnerable. So I'll leave it there. I will put the link to join somewhere. If you have any questions, please reach out. And we start in 3.5 hours. All the content will be available to watch at your own convenience. You will have lifetime access to the course. So this is a lifetime investment, something you can go back to again and again, which I really recommend. Okay. Thank you for tuning in. Lots of love.